over President Trump's immigration order heating up, as it turns out. The judge who halted the ban has also helped resettle refugees. Here to weigh in, Democratic strategist Brad Bowman and political analyst for Rasmussen Reports, Amy Holmes. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
So this is a federal district court judge. His name is Judge James Robart. Here is what he had to say in terms of helping some refugees resettle. We can take a look at this. He said, "I was introduced to people who in many times felt that the legal system was stacked against them or was unfair. I think that my time there helped. The legal system was set up for their benefit, and that it could be, if properly used, an opportunity for them to seek redress if they had been wrong." So, Amy, a conflict of interest?
I don't think so. And he worked on resettling refugees as a private citizen. He also he fostered children. These are, I think, kind, generous things to do. But I don't think they have anything to do with critiquing his judgment, which I find to be very problematic, that this federal judge in Seattle, my hometown, has taken it upon himself to set national security and counterterrorism policy. He said that the government just hasn't proven that individuals from these 7 countries pose a threat to the United States. I would say, first of all, how does he know that? When was the last time he was in Mogadishu? And secondly, even if he does have some secret information about the terrorist threat against our country, it's not for him to decide.
And that is the question.
Make the decision for the commander-in-chief.
So, Brad, who does get to make that decision? We heard Vice President Pence saying, similar to what Amy is saying, that he doesn't have this right. And then we heard Dianne Feinstein earlier in our show saying that, no, he does have this right.
Sure, and you know, I think that honestly, it's not his decision to tell us what is in our best national security interest, but it is very much in his decision to decide whether a law or an executive order stands up to constitutional muster. And this is a judge who, Amy rightly pointed out, is a good man who has done really, really good things by a lot of people, who was nominated by President Bush, who was confirmed by a wide bipartisan margin. People believe that, you know, large amounts of people in government believe that he does have the sort of judgment to make this sort of call as to whether it's constitutional or not.
Yeah, and Amy, new news on all of this morning. We had lawyers for Washington State and Minnesota telling the federal appellate court that if this ban is reversed, that it will cause complete chaos.
Well, I think it will. We've already seen it, you know, that people being stuck in the airport, sent back, now they're told they can come back. You know, where exactly is our policy? And once again, I don't believe it's up to a federal judge to make the assessment that people from these 7 regions, which, by the way, were identified by President Obama, don't pose a terrorist threat, or that the government hasn't proven that they do. That's simply not for him to decide. And there was another federal judge in Massachusetts who came to a very different conclusion. And he said that the commander-in-chief, as our chief executive, does have the right to set this policy in furtherance of national security and counterterrorism goals. So once again, and I would also point out to polling data. At Rasmussen Reports, we found last Thursday that a majority of likely voters support the president's executive order to put a moratorium on refugees until we have a better system in place.
All right, we have to go, but just one final word from you, Brad. By reversing, I mean restoring the ban and reversing what this judge is saying needs to happen, which is stop the ban.
You know, the only chaos that was created in the immigration system was created by President Trump and this executive order. We had a fine system that was doing a great job at extreme vetting folks. This was unnecessary, unneeded, and we are safe.
All right, we will see what happens next. Certainly not the end of it by a long shot. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your insight.